One of the subjects I get asked about the most is vocal registers. And by that, people usually mean the divide in the voice. That seems like there's a section of it down here and a section of it up here. And while in fact there is a mechanical change that's occurring in our larynx to create that, the thought process that has now ensued because of all the labels and all of the tidbits of information out there is making people crazy. It's madness. So I just want to make this video to get as clear and simple a thought process as possible, because that's where singing really occurs, in our thought process. This whole labeling the registers into chest and head, it's dated back to the 12th century. That's when two monks put into literature Vox Capitis, which means head voice, and Vox Pectoris. And that was simply their way of sort of describing what they were sensing when they sang. What they were really referring to is vocal resonance. Obviously, the windpipe is going to resonate when we make a low sound. Ah, you feel that down here in your sternum bone, pectoral area. And ah, when we make that sound, we feel it more up in the smaller cavities because of the laws of sound. Sound is going to be exciting a like cavity, so big waves, low notes are big sound waves, they require a big cavity. Your windpipe is the largest airspace in your body. And high pitches are smaller sound waves and therefore have a need for smaller cavities, i.e. what's going on up here. That's a laws of nature. We don't need to make anything occur. That's like gravity. It's guaranteed. So what I want to do is just give you this one tidbit. All in all, everybody since the 12th century on to today has really been governing their voice by asking for a sound. The sound you're imagining has got instructions in it. It will inform your body as to how much of one muscle and how much of another muscle is needed to produce the sound you're asking for. That's what happened before the 12th century, and that's what's going to happen into the future. You can't see or feel the muscles in your larynx responsible for that division. Inside your vocal fold, there's a set of muscles called the thyroid muscles, and they bulk up your folds. And then outside, two little tiny muscles on the outside of your larynx called the cricothyroid muscles, those are stretching your folds. When your folds are stretched, the pitch changes. When they bulk up, it gets big and heavy like this. And then there's every combination in between. So a better way to think about what to do or how to gauge whether you're doing the right behavior, the correct behavior, is to think about smiling. Smiling is probably one of the most natural things next to singing. They're innate. No one is taught how to smile. No one really needs to be taught how to sing. That's something instinctive. And what we vocal coaches do is basically get people out of their own way so those instinctive reflexes can flourish. And the same would be true for awkward smiles. So what good photographers do is try not to make people think that they're getting their picture taken, to get a more natural, organic smile. And like the voice, there's two sets of muscles involved in a smile. There's the zygomatic major. That's the ones that pull your mouth up in the corners like this. And then I'm going to mess this up. There is the orbital, I'm going to print it right here. Wait. No, I'll go this way. I want to put it right here. I'm going to mess this up. Orbicularis, something, orbitalaris, something like that. Orculi, and that's the one that squeezes your eye. I'm not a doctor. Sorry for messing up that pronunciation. The point is this, that the combination of those two muscles, and there's of course more than just those two incorporated in the facial expressions we normally see a smile, and there's more than the two I mentioned involved in singing. There's the arytenoids that bring the folds together, and of course the airflow and the resonators. So it's a very complex system of muscles that expresses both our voice and our visual effect of a smile. And so, how do you know, if I go this way, how do you know that this smile, or this one, or this one, or this one, how do you know those aren't good smiles? That's what I get asked a lot when I'm, when somebody's singing. Say, is that right? Am I doing this correctly? Now, how do you know a smile is correct? To me, the answer is when you don't delete it, when you don't rip up the photo, right? So what we do about a smile is we keep taking photos, keep taking selfies of ourselves till we get a good look. That's all it is. We just use that word. I don't like the way I look, right? And so that answers the question. You can go away now. Thank you. So the point is that answers the question about singing. Sound. That's what we really govern ourselves by. The sound we're producing. And often singers that are struggling with their voice don't have a sound in mind. They don't have an intended sound. So therefore, they're asking themselves all about mechanical questions, where they should feel it, how much air should come up, when in reality, all the listener wants is to hear your choice of sound. So keep that in mind when you're singing, and it will allow you splits and blends and array in the middle of those two choices, because there's far more than just two setups for those muscles. This is when the folds are thin. This is when the folds are thick, and there's a billion sounds in between. So don't hold yourselves to just two choices, or three if you're into the mix. That becomes yet a third destination. So there's just an array, a spectrum of sounds available to us, just like there's all kinds of different smiles that are available to us. And it's always about choosing the appropriate look. Certainly don't want a big smile at a funeral. And there's appropriate sounds we create. You don't want to have too much of a robust sound if you're singing something sensitive, and vice versa. So don't be afraid to explore with your voice, and I recommend you always record yourself just using your phone as you explore all of these choices in between. But I really recommend you take away those labels that are fishing around in your mind between head and chest and mix even, and you take those out of your vocabulary and start thinking in more adjectives. Use more descriptive terms to describe the sound you're looking for, and you'll give your body, your reflexes, some leeway to work. Otherwise, we're instructing it, just a few elements of a very complex system. You'll always know if you got it right when it's a recording you're proud of and play for your friends. Just like when you like the look of a smile, you'll post a selfie. I'm Mark Baxter for Lesson.com.